Hey, David Rocket from DRX Designs. I am going to do a review of the previous night's class from here on out. V and I decided that would be a good idea. So if you guys need to go back and kind of, if you forgot something. So anyway, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is the basics, kind of go over where everything is. So you have your undo button, redo, you have select object, or select by name, select object. And you have your move tool, you have rotate, and you have scale. And then you have your material editor. Over here is where you start. So you have your create tab, and you have your modify tab. And in the create tab, you have box and all these. You click box, make a box, change the size, oops, okay. And once you have that done, click on the move tool, and then go down here. You have X, Y, and Z, and then you want to move your deck and to the 0, 0, 0 axis. So highlight 0.0 and 0.0, and now it's on the 0, 0, 0 axis. Okay. Next, you want to click on the modify tab, and then there's two ways that you can convert to editable poly. You can right click on the actual object, if we can get this to show, convert to editable poly here, or you can right click where it says box here under the modifier list and choose editable poly. Okay, and then from there, right here where it says box 01, you highlight and name it COL. Hit enter. Okay, and then you go up to edit, clone, make sure it's on copy, name it LOD 0, and click OK. And then you can right click and you can choose hide unselected, or you can go up to select by name, choose the collision, and then right click, if I can get it to show, hide selection. And now we have just, whoops, well, you can go to unhide all also, and then you have both of them in your viewport again. And so you just right click, hide unselected, and now we have just a LOD 0 and the viewport. And then next we went over the material editor. You click on new, multi-material, and I didn't tell you this last night, but you can click on select number and you can change however many materials that you want. But for this deck, we're just going to be working with 2. So here, change the name to grass. Keep it all lowercase, because if you have a capital G and then you export it and you submit it, sometimes if you have it in capital letters, your textures might come out all screwed up. That's a rare case, but it does happen. So just keep it all lowercase. And then we have for the side, let's name it rock. Okay, and that's your actual materials, and this is your overall material name. So we'll just name it deck. Okay, and then click on this button right here where it says material number 1, and I always do this in sequence. Click on show map and viewport, and what this does is it will show the actual texture in your perspective view. And then give your material the name, grass. Two-sided is for, like, if you have glass or if you have just a flat surface with one texture. and you can click on that, and then once you export it as the model file and you bring it up in Previewer, two-sided will automatically be checked. And then self-illumination, you click on this, and what that does is it will put a check beside affected by light, so it'll be on by default. And then next, click on Maps, the little plus sign right here next to Maps, put a check beside Diffuse Color, and you click on the None button. You can double click Bitmap, or you can highlight and click OK, and then you'll check or you'll browse for your actual texture. And then you can click on Go to Parent, or you can go back up to Deck. And then just do the same thing for rock. Turn it on. Name. Affected by light. Click on the plus. Diffuse. Click None. Bitmap. Choose your texture. And go back up to the parent. And then make sure that you have your object selected. And then click Apply. Okay. And from there, that's pretty much where we are. I'm going to pause now, and I'm going to switch over to 3D Studio Max 2010 for those that use 3D Studio Max. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here we are in 3D Studio Max 2010, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between Gmax and 3D Studio Max. And pretty much the only thing I'm going to show is the material editor. And this is your material editor button right here. You just click that, move this in, make this smaller, okay, and you click on the little standard button, and then you have your selection here. So you want multi-sub object, and you can just leave that, just click OK, and then you have your default for Max 9 and Max 2010 is going to be 10. But for this case, we just need 2. So you just click on the set number and then change the number to 2. Okay. And then what you want to do is name your overall multi-material texture. And then name your individual textures, grass, and rock. And then again, click Show Standard Map in Viewport, so you'll see the texture in your viewport. Give it a name, which is grass. And then you have your two-sided and color. And then click on Maps, and the same thing. Click Diffuse, click None. Browse for your texture, and go back up to your parent directory, and do the same thing for rock. Turn it on. Rock, color, maps, diffuse, select None, click the None button, browse for your texture, and once you got that, go back up to the parent directory, and then for 3D Studio Max you have assign material to selection rather than apply, which is the same thing as Gmax. So just make sure that you have your actual object selected, and just you can either click Assign Material to Selection, or you can drag the whole thing and move it and drop it onto the actual object itself. And that's it. Ta-ta.